Welcome, and thank you all for joining me for the celebration for the birthing of my new book, Meno-Morphosis: Rituals, Spells, and Natural Remedies for Peri, Mid, and Postmenopausal Women. And we are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some games and prizes. And I just want to say thank you for supporting me and celebrating with me. And we have some special guest speakers here today. And I would love to get started right away and introduce you to our first speaker, Kathleen Joan.
Natural healing to bring life to ourselves and the world. So to me, in my view, that makes this book deeply divine feminine. It's an expression in some ways of women's spirituality. And maybe for some of us, it could be related to our own spiritual connection to the divine feminine or the sacred feminine, whatever that means for each of us. Why am I talking about this? Because I'm also a priestess of the sacred feminine, as I believe Vanessa is in many ways. I'm a priestess of Bridget, who is both an ancient Celtic goddess and a Christian saint. And my mission is to help women claim our sacredness in the image of the Divine Mother, so we can become part of her rising in today's world. And again, I'm just thrilled to be here supporting Vanessa today, because in this book, I see the goddess returning. It's this divine feminine wisdom, the wisdom of Mother Earth, of herbal healing, the spells, the rituals, and doing all of this around menopause, which has become sort of a demonized aspect of the feminine in our culture, one that is not celebrated. We want to not talk about it. We want to see it as something negative, right? But really reclaiming this as a part of our spiritual power is part of, I think, of a renewed interest in the divine feminine and our process of remembering and honoring her. So Vanessa, thank you for helping us all understand our menopausal journey as part of the divine feminine awakening to our own power. You've actually made me look forward to menopause, so I am loving this. And to celebrate this, I would like to offer us just a brief invocation to the divine feminine, to the goddess, for anyone who would like to join in, calling the sacred feminine into this space. And then I would love to offer us a brief Reiki healing, brief energy healing that will travel to everyone who's here live on the call, as well as those who may watch the recording, with the intention that we all can deepen in our divine feminine spiritual path through Vanessa's book. So that's what I would love to do. If you would love to join in with me, I'm going to put this invocation in the chat here. And if you have a candle, you can go ahead and grab that. And if you don't, you can just witness the light. Taking a moment to take a deep breath, center ourselves. And if it feels good and appropriate to you, please feel free to join in saying this invocation with me that I've put in the chat. So let this flame represent the spirit of the goddess that burns within each of us. As we awaken to her spirit within ourselves, we become part of her awakening in the world.
As we awaken to the flame and the warmth.
So I'm going to offer us just a couple of minutes here of Reiki energy healing with the intention and the prayer that Vanessa's book may help all of us deepen in our divine feminine journey. If you would not like to receive Reiki energy healing today, just set that intention. Reiki respects our free will, and so it will just bounce off. But if you would, you may welcome that intention or any other intention for your healing that you would like to receive today, just in the next about 3 minutes or so. So you can feel free to close your eyes, to sit comfortably, and just relax into this warm glow of energetic healing that is coming all of our way. Inviting you to take a deep breath in and out. Thank you. Blessed be. We're so grateful to you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for being here and for celebrating with us. And I would invite you, if you have anything coming up that you would like to share, please do so, or any links that you would like to put in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put a couple of things in the chat. You'll see a free guide that I've created, which is called 5 Ways to Connect with the Sacred Feminine Daily. And you can also see how you can follow me on Facebook. And I do have an upcoming New Moon Goddess Circle for female identified people. So all those links are there. And thank you again so much, Vanessa, for welcoming me today.
Absolutely. That was beautiful. I just always feel so nourished after your Reiki healing. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I encourage all of you to click on Kathleen's links and see what she is up to. And I'm also going to put the links to my book in the chat in case any of you haven't gotten them yet or would like to share. And before we go to our next speaker, I just want to welcome a few more people who have jumped in. So welcome to Jean and Jessica and Naomi and Dawn and Cynthia. Thank you all for being here and celebrating not only this book, but just celebrating all of us, celebrating womanhood. And for those of you who have just hopped on, I just wanted to take a minute to celebrate that right before the party, I went and I checked my book stats. And my book is listed in 10 different categories on Amazon. And it has hit #1 bestseller in all 10 categories in the Kindle version as of about 10:45. So thank you all for being so supportive in all the ways that you have supported me. And I'm celebrating all of you as well. So I want to get to our next guest speaker, who is Aimee. Aimee, thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to spotlight you, and I can't wait to hear what you have to share with us.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aimee Tomczak, and Vanessa, just what an absolute joy to celebrate today with you with this amazing book launch. I have not been able to read it yet, but I can't wait to get my hands on it. I like the paper copy. I want to hold it in my hand, so I will be ordering it today. And I just am so excited for you to get this work into the world. I think you have incredible wisdom, knowledge, experience, and I just love being in this midlife portal of awakening together as we help support all other women in this midlife time. I am a psychotherapist and a creativity and embodiment coach, and I help women to awaken to this. In midlife, I call it a portal. Really, it's a portal of time, just like Vanessa talks about in your book. It's a Meno-Morphosis, right? It's a time of change and of deep awakening and creativity and power that is incredible and challenging too, right? This is not an easy journey. And so I love this image of the chrysalis, right? In the chrysalis, this butterfly emerging, and ask ourselves, right, how can we create some space to be able to allow our truth of who we really are to emerge? How can we, when the butterfly's in the chrysalis, it's actually like beating its wings up against, this holding container, right, to be able to emerge. And so I love this idea, right, of creating space. And so I want to invite us right now, right here and now, to actually just take a couple of minutes and just take a breath in, let your hands lift and just exhale and just create some space around you. Breathing in, and then again, letting the hands emerge and just exhaling into some space for you, space together as we are together, and your own space to just feel yourself behind you, to your sides, above. We are so, right, bombarded with a lot of stimulation, energy, other people's needs, media, blah, 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 right? Taking this moment, even a couple of minutes, to take a pause, to take a breath, and to reconnect so that we can recalibrate our nervous systems and really touch into, what am I feeling right now? What am I needing right now? Really important, so we can make choices based on this inner knowing, right? Based on this inner wisdom that is awakening at this time. So just take a pause and just notice, what was that like? Whatever it was like for you, just take a pause and sense in. What am I noticing? How am I feeling? What am I needing? What might be something today that I could give myself? And from Kathleen's amazing Reiki healing, I am, and now just making a little space, I can just say I'm feeling a little more grounded and a little more present. And I hope that you are too. And I just want to celebrate you, Vanessa. This day is really about you. So I want to just go, yes, yes. And just appreciate you for all that you are and all that you're offering the world with this amazing book.
Thank you so much, Aimee. I appreciate that. And oh yes, just taking space, taking up our own space is something that as women, we're not often encouraged to do. So thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
That exercise, something just as simple as that, can make such a huge difference. Yeah. And I would also love for you to share anything that you have coming up, or a free gift you might have, or any of your links.
Absolutely. I will definitely put this in the chat. I'm offering everybody here my free gift, which is a Claim Your Creative Space meditation. So it's a very short 10-minute meditation. You'll be able to do this practice, and it's my gift to you. And I hope that it can be supportive. And I also have a workshop coming up, Painting Through Grief, that I don't have a link for yet, but if you sign up to my list, I will be sharing that. And I have some other exciting workshops and groups coming up as well. So I'll go ahead and put this in the chat, and just an absolute joy to be here today.
Thank you so much, Aimee. And I think a few more people have joined us. So I just wanted to welcome Margot and Robin and anybody else that I haven't already welcomed by name, thank you so much for being here, celebrating the birth of this book, and also just celebrating all of you and celebrating women in general. And I want to mention that everybody who is here live and also who is watching the Facebook Live in my group, I am making a list of everybody's names, and I'm putting them all in my abalone shell here, and I'm going to mix them all up. And at the end, I'm going to draw a name, and that person is going to get the gift of my paperback version of my book. I'm going to inscribe it and send it to you. And even if you've already bought a copy, if you want to gift it to somebody, that's wonderful, but I'm going to choose one person that will win a copy of the paperback version, which is right here. And next up is Martha. I want to give the floor to Martha, who has so wonderfully offered to share something with us today. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Martha, and thank you so much for being here and sharing with us today.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, my name is Martha Hines, and I do various healing work, and I also do astrology. And one of the thing that I really wanted to share today is actually the astrology of this book, and and the astrology of today for Vanessa, because it's such a beautiful example of why I love looking at astrology. And also it's a beautiful example of Vanessa's connection to her inner knowing. Because when she told me what day she was going to be launching the book and how it corresponded to her birthday and it corresponded to this eclipse we had last week, I was astounded. So I'm going to just share the screen for anybody who happens to follow astrology. If you don't understand astrology, it is completely fine. I will translate the whole thing for you, but I want to show you because it's so awesome, and I just feel like this book was meant to birth in this moment. Oops, where is? Okay, you can see my screen, right? Okay, there we go. Okay. So yeah. So last week we had a full moon eclipse in Taurus. Really powerful one, a total eclipse. And that eclipse happened just before Vanessa's birthday. And Vanessa, and just to say, Vanessa has given me permission to show your chart. Right? This is with your consent. I wouldn't normally do this, but it's just feels like a beautiful way to honor you. So thank you for giving me permission for that. So natally, when Vanessa was born, she was born on a full moon in Taurus, just like we had last week. She wasn't born on an eclipse, but the eclipse we had last week kind of mirrored her the moment she was born. So the sun was on her sun, obviously, like it is for any of our birthdays. And then the moon was very near her natal moon. And it was an eclipse. So, and the full moon was in her 5th house near her natal moon, which is in her 5th house. The 5th house has to do with our creative expression in the world. So this, among many other things, this eclipse is really highlighting Vanessa's creative expression in the world, her birthing things into the world, because it's her moon, right? So Vanessa naturally, just as a human, has a lot of soul level intention to birth her own creative essence into the world. And this eclipse happened to line up exactly with that soul level intention for you, Vanessa. And the eclipse also happens to be squaring your nodes of the moon. So this whole time of this eclipse for you is and this whole time period in general, it's like astrologically, it's like a launching pad, like a moment, like a turning moment in your life where suddenly you can just get the spotlight and get the spotlight specifically on what you're here to birth into the world. I mean, it's so precisely perfect. And you listened to that calling and you followed it. And here we are. And you hit your goal. You are this #1 bestseller now, which is exactly what was wanting to birth into the world, right? And also another layer of what's so beautiful about the astrology of all of this is that, again, the full moon eclipse was in Taurus, and Taurus is often associated, well, it's ruled by Venus, which is associated with the divine feminine and being in our bodies and being in the wisdom of our bodies and being in the wisdom of the divine feminine in our bodies, right? So, I mean, it's just all the themes are so perfect and so beautiful. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many other things I could say about that, but just to keep it brief, trying to get back. Here we go. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So I'll just keep it brief and just focus on that eclipse. But the one thing I did want to offer to everyone here today is that I am also going to be doing a workshop on December 14th, talking about the astrology of 2023. And I'm going to be, for all of you here, I created a special coupon link, or I mean, a code that I am going to put in the chat. It's Vanessa 20. So there's actually an early bird special already there. And then if you sign up with that code today, you get like a really discounted price on the workshop itself. And then there's also, I'm offering discounted one-on-one sessions to look at 2023 and also discounted written, like a little mini ebook that's me looking at your chart kind of the way I did with Vanessa, but through the whole year and all the major transits of the year for you, specifically for you. So like if there's an eclipse happening on your moon or your sun or whatever, you can really not only follow your intuition the way that Vanessa did, but then have a way to guide yourself and feel supported and held in what this astrology is maybe showing for you. What's so interesting, actually, I have two friends who had their birthday last week, Vanessa and one other person, who both launched books this week. Very weird. Not everybody who had a birthday last week will be launching books, obviously, but it's just, really beautiful and interesting. So yeah, congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much, Martha. And I love your perspective on astrology and the unique angle that you take on it. I really resonate with. And so thank you so much for being here and for looking at my chart. That's always so much fun, and the way that you are able to connect what's going on right now for me with my chart and my book and all of that is just really lovely. And thank you for putting those links in the chat for everybody. I encourage you all to go take a look. Martha's very thorough in her astrology, and I think that you will all love it. Joy, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, it was lovely for you to be able to come and jump in. And so I have everybody's name down so far who's here, and I'm going to wait until the end in case a few more people jump on. A couple of people said they weren't going to be able to make the party until a little bit later. So at the very end today, I'm going to announce the winner of the paperback copy of my book, and if that person still isn't on the call, I will go ahead and contact them. But in the meantime, I wanted to do a very short reading of my book for those of you that are here before we get to our next speaker. All right, here we go. I am reading from chapter 2. And chapter 2 is called Menopause is Your Spiritual Initiation. Have you heard of this concept? There is so much power in that statement. I first heard this phrase from Kat Codrington, menstrual and menopause mentor. But what exactly does it mean? Menopause as a spiritual initiation. I believe it means that this is an opportunity for us to really go deep inside and evaluate our lives and truly consider what we've accomplished, what wisdom we've gained, how we want to bring that to the world, how we can step forward in our power. How can we use our passions and the things we really care about to help our families, our communities, other women, and the world from a place of deep wisdom in alignment with our own intuition and higher power. This is the spiritual initiation we are called to step into. I read once in a book that there is an American Indian saying that goes like this: on her first bleed, a woman meets her power. During her bleeding years, she practices her power. And at menopause, she becomes her power. Do you feel it? Is this something that speaks to you? Do you know that you have more inside of you that you want to bring into being, that you want to create in this next phase of your life? As I've mentioned before, our culture does not tend to value the maturing woman. From the way we are made to feel invisible in the workplace, to the way our concerns are not heard in the medical office, to the way the media portrays older women as no longer desirable or beautiful. It is no wonder menopause is looked at with indifference, dread, and even fear. It hasn't always been that way, though. And it still isn't in many parts of the world. Menopause is no longer synonymous with the end of a woman's life. It is only the midpoint. Most women can look forward to the next half of their life unfolding before them as they go through menopause. Some women will live more years of their life post-menopausal than they did before entering menopause. The stigma of menopause signaling old age and death is no longer valid. We need a new way to think about this phase of life. Or maybe more accurately, we need to look back on how menopause has been experienced and exalted in more traditional cultures around the world. This is what Meno-Morphosis is all about. This is the time for us to step into our power and use all the wisdom we've accumulated up till now and share it with the world. In fact, Amanda McQuaid Crawford said it very well in her book, The Natural Menopause Handbook. After a temporary period of trial, whether mild or intense, every woman can enter the second half of her life with a wisdom and dignity no maiden can match. In several Asian cultures, menopause is known as the second spring. It is viewed as the awakening or rebirthing period of a woman's life, the springtime of the second half of her life. What a refreshing way to look at it, right? The second spring is our time to refocus on ourselves and our lives and remind ourselves what we are really passionate about We often become disconnected from our passions after nurturing others for many years of our lives. It's time to start nurturing ourselves. Self-nurture can lead us back to what's really important to us, can fill up our cup so that we have an overflow to give to others and the world, and help us rekindle our desires and passions for who we want to be in the world and what we are here to do, what impact we want to make. We need deep nourishment and nurturing of ourselves to bring that to fruition. All right, thank you so much. And thank you for all of the beautiful comments in the chat. Wonderful. And I would love now to introduce you to our next speaker, who is Cynthia. And Cynthia is very special to me because she is my book coach. And were it not for Cynthia, this book would not be here right now, at least not in this form on this day. So thank you very much, Cynthia.
I'll try not to cry. I'm so proud of you and so excited for you right now. I celebrate you, Vanessa. I'm proud of you for letting your vision take up space in the world, for finding your voice, and what a beautiful journey it's been. I really believe, and I think that Martha kind of set this up, that this book is a gift to the world. And truly, you were the one to do it, so yay you. #1 bestseller on Amazon. Own it, sister. This is so beautiful and such a great example of what creative collaboration is all about. It's like Vanessa had this great idea, and she asked me if I could help her put this book together, and I was like, hells to the yes. And it was a fast track. Quite honestly, I haven't worked with anybody who's written a book quite so quickly, but you were so well prepared and you already had so much material and wisdom to share that it was a beautiful pleasure to be on this journey with you. So I could not be more proud. So in case you don't know me, I am a coach, a published author, and a writing coach, and I help people to share their genius with the world through the book that only they can write. I believe that everybody, has their own lens, and you can write on the same topic, but you will never write the same book. And that's what I do. I'm fascinated with the story. I'm passionate about the story. I really believe Joseph Campbell when he said stories are how we make sense of the world. And so currently, I believe we have something like 8 billion stories going on in the world. And as of yesterday, we have 8 billion people on the planet. Anyway, so yeah, it's just been a beautiful journey. And I'm sorry I don't have a lovely meditation or a reading to do for you today, but I do want to let folks know that I'm launching a new program in 2023 where the writers that I work with, we're not only going to work individually, but we're also going to have a group process where we can meet weekly and write in community and share in community. And as we all know, that nobody creates in a vacuum, and that collaborative energy is so powerful and so uplifting that everybody wins from it. So I would like to offer that as something that's coming up. And if you're one of the 8 people out of 10 who feels like they have a book in them, I'm going to put a link in the chat where you can talk to me. I'll give you an hour of my time so we can just talk about your book. No commitment at all, but I just want to ignite that fire in anybody who has just even a teeny desire to share their voice with the world. I think now is when we need more wisdom in the world. So I would love to do that.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for being here. And I have to say that she is awesome. I cannot sing her praises enough. And she made writing this book easy. I mean, writing a book is never easy, but she made it simple and really a joyful process. I really can say that even in the most challenging parts of it, it was fun. And I see that Joy has written in the comments that she is
Yes.
also working with Cynthia, and she says Cynthia is fabulous, and she is right. Wonderful. And Margot says, so happy for you. Congratulations. I need to leave soon. Thank you for popping in and being here, Margot. And so I want to just take a moment to put the links in the chat one more time for you. And before we get to our next speaker, I want to do a little fun game. And that is, I would like to read from my book about one of the herbs that I often use for women in midlife. And I can find the one. Yes. I'm going to read a little bit that I've written about the herb. I'm not going to tell you what the herb is. And if somebody can guess the herb and put it in the chat, then I'm going to make a special magical herbal blend for that person and send it to them. So this is called Guess the Herb. All right. So this herb is often used as a detoxifying remedy. It supports and strengthens the entire body. It helps to build energy. It strengthens the adrenals. It's good for not only detoxifying the liver, but also protecting it from inflammation. It's very high in minerals like calcium, magnesium, potassium. It's also an excellent source of vitamin A, D, E, and K. Let's see what else. It has high iron content. It's often used for anemia, and it can be used for food and as an herbal medicinal remedy. And I see all kinds of comments in the chat. And if anybody else has a comment, see, we have Elise, Jackie, Amy, Cynthia, Joy, all saying nettles. And yes, it is nettle. So I'm going to send all of you your own special nettle blend. So feel free, if you have my email already, you can email it. If we're Facebook friends, you can message me your physical address, and I will send you a special magical nettle blend. Okay, how fun. All right. Our next guest speaker is Susan. So let me spotlight you here, Susan. And Susan has been such a wonderful support for me over the past year for many of my different offerings. And I'm so glad that you could be here today, Susan.
Thank you, Vanessa. What a pleasure. Hello, friends.
Your volume is a little bit low, Susan.
Okay.
Is it low for everybody else? Yeah, okay.
Let me
Just want to make
go
sure
in
we
here
can hear you.
and fix that. Go to the audio settings here. Shows that it's all the way up. Okay, let me try that. Is this any better?
It's a little better. You might just need to get a little closer to your computer.
Weird. Okay.
Yes, better.
All right. Well, I'm just really happy that I'm here because the energy is so fantastic. And I hadn't even thought about that part of it, that, we'd be in this beautiful cauldron of feminine, witchy energy. And that's what's coming through for me, is that Vanessa's book is such a powerful healer of the witch wound. Just having that bold title is so beautiful. And as a money coach, I work with money trauma a lot. And I'm really learning a lot right now about collective trauma. And so we're here healing this collective witch wound. And it's really beautiful. I bought the book today, the paperback, because I love to touch books, like somebody else said. And so I'm very excited to get my book. So what I'm thinking of doing today for all of us in this beautiful portal of vision manifest is to swim collectively in this portal and take a few moments to go inside and open to each one of our visions. And at the same time, we're infusing Vanessa's vision with having that just flower in whatever way you are looking to bring your book to the world and have that feed your life, feed your business, feed your influence, and feed your visibility. So I invite you to find a comfortable position and let your body settle in right now. Just feeling the weight of the body into the chair, letting the shoulders drop, letting the face relax, feeling the heaviness of the body and the contact of the soles of your feet with the floor, and the earth energy. And now bringing awareness to your breath, just watching the wave of the breath for a few cycles. Dropping into your own powerful frequency of love, your connection to the divine feminine energies, and any guides that are present with you. And then settle your awareness in the heart space and ask the question, what is on my heart to create in this coming year? What is my vision? And seeing how that shows up for you in this sacred container. Seeing the people that you're connecting with, or the energies of those you haven't met yet. Seeing the beautiful impact that you're having on others. And really letting in the joy of the success that we're feeling and witnessing today. What would that feel like for you as your visions manifest? Feeling your own energy expand. And now I'm going to blessing. And gently coming back to your own body. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. So thank you so much for helping to generate that beautiful space and just holding Vanessa's vision so dearly. Thank you, Vanessa, for showing us the way, being a leader in following your dream. And I will share in the chat my 10 sacred prosperity practices to amplify your frequency. And that will bring you into my community, and I'll have some wonderful offerings coming up, including an in-person retreat in the Bay Area at the end of December. Blessings.
Thank you so much, Susan. That was just so incredibly lovely. The meditation and especially the music just really resonated. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. And I encourage everybody to check out Susan's offerings, her 10 sacred practices to amplify your prosperity. I have that, and it's wonderful, lovely practices in that free gift. So thank you for offering that to us. And I just want to take a moment again to say I had an opportunity a few minutes ago to check the stats again. And as I mentioned earlier, the Kindle version of my book has hit #1 bestseller status in all 10 categories that it is enrolled in on Amazon. And so I'm just over the moon about that. And I haven't really pushed the paperback version this time. It's, my first book launch, so I just wanted to keep it easy and focus on one thing. So I haven't really focused very much on pushing the paperback. So it has not yet hit bestseller status, and I wasn't sure if it was going to. However, looking at the stats, it did hit #1 new release today. So the paperback is a #1 new release in the category of, let me check again which category that was. In the category of vitamin and mineral supplements. And it is on the rise in a couple of categories. The paperback version is number 7 in women's sexual health, number 10 in alternative medicine reference, and number 11 in vitamins and supplements. So that is really exciting to me to see that the paperback version is also rising up, and possibly by the end of the day could hit number 1 in one of the categories that it's in. So thank you all again for your support and for all of the lovely comments that have been coming in the chat. And now I would love to introduce our next guest speaker, who is Elise. And so I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you, Elise, for everyone here. Thank you so much, Elise, for being here.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, looks like
Yep.
I'm green. Okay, and take off my socks. Congratulations. It is so exciting. I'm really happy for you, Vanessa. I'm going to be sharing some yoga and a little visualization for our divine feminine. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to be in a chair. So these are some yoga specific, it's yoga for the divine feminine. And it's specifically something that you can do while you're sitting. And if your camera is not showing the lower half of your body, no one will even know you're doing yoga for some of these moves. Some of them will be a little more obvious. You can also turn your camera off. But I wanted to share this because so many of us are sitting in chairs, whatever stage, perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, or even before that. These poses and this way of connecting and listening to your body is, I think, really powerful and important in this time when we're online a lot, and it's just a very different, we're bringing in a lot of feminine energy in this special book release party, and that's not always the case though, right? We're in a lot of meetings, and some of us have to be in different spaces that are not as feminine. So without further ado, you can do this in your chair. We'll start, you can take your knees a little wider in goddess pose. And if you want to stand up and do these, you could stand on your feet and just imagine the chair is not here. So you might not do this in a meeting, but let's take our arms into full goddess pose. Bring your elbows forward so it really opens your heart here. Framing your head and feel very rooted into the ground. Take a moment and feel a strong connection to the earth. If you want to close your eyes and imagine your growing roots into the earth deep and wide. And those roots are also drawing out of that Mother Gaia energy, because when we go through the change, we need that Gaia to support us. And so feel that, because we get a little uprooted. Change uproots us. So whatever stage you're in, and most of us can always use a little more of that. And let's take a couple deep breaths together. So inhale and inhale into those roots. Exhale down into those roots as well. So we're bringing in, we're releasing, we're getting into that flow. And now go ahead and take your arms down onto your knees or thighs, and we'll start to bring in some energy from above. So you can reach up, cosmic energy. Just maybe even wiggle your fingers just to feel that divine cosmic energy, divine cosmos. And it's just going to rain down into you. I love the astrology. And when I think of cosmic energy, it's like we don't have to know everything about astrology. It's just coming into our bodies. So we are in divine alignment. So you can close your eyes and just imagine that streaming in from even beyond the Earth's atmosphere, go as far as you want. It's all coming into us at any point. So even if you're only a few feet above your body, you're still going to get that cosmic energy. If you feel inspired to go further out, go further out. If you want to see a color for that divine cosmic energy, just visualize it streaming in through the crown of your head, through your spinal column, and even emptying out into the earth into the grounding. Beautiful. Now let's exhale together, bring the palms to the heart. We'll take 5 breaths and just imagine as you inhale, just reaching up, bringing that cosmic energy in and releasing it into the earth as you exhale, taking 4 more of these. And again, you can do this anytime. Turn off your camera if you want to do your arms. You don't want to be seen on Zoom, but here we're loving it. Okay, 1 more. And then just keep your hands at your heart in that goddess pose. And just imagine that earth energy and cosmic energy mixing and fountaining out through the crown of your head. We're going to do a little more movement. So now let's take, either take your forearm on your thigh. And again, you could always, if you feel like standing up, because sometimes we have been sitting too long, you could do this standing up, or you can remain in your chair, which I think is nice. And even just taking our legs wide, we feel more rooted. And you can lean back a little, really open your heart. We want to connect to the heart, get out of our brain and our mind. And then let's go to the other side. Reaching, just this gentle movement can really wake us up, especially if we've gotten kind of into an energy slump. Breathing, just making sure your head is in a comfortable position. And then let's inhale, come back up, hands to the heart. And then exhale, take your hands to your knees. And let's just do a little bit of shoulder rolling, kind of moving back. You can go back in your chair. And you could do this, you know, with your legs closer too, but I think it's really nice for this divine feminine to open up to that energy in our womb. Let's go in the other direction. We can feel it more powerfully, more potent. It's more potent with our knees wider. And a couple more of these circles really invoke that divine feminine. Get out of that, those masculine linear patterns, moving our bodies in a circle. Beautiful. And then coming back up. And then let's go forward. So you can bring your feet closer together. I put a little block here. It's just off the camera, but a little block under my feet. And you can even have something up higher if you like. I'm going to come down and kind of touch my toes and hang like a rag doll. You could also do this wide too, either placing your elbows or your hands on the chair. So just see what feels good to you. Let yourself dump out, release any stress, worries, just whatever you want to let go of. This is the time to let go, because we have that ability in our bodies, you know, with the bleeding, with the menstruation, we release. And even if we're not menstruating, we have that power, this cyclical power. So we bring in, we birth, we release. And that doesn't mean we have to have done those things in our body, but we can let go. We have that power to let go, to release. It's like Kali, the goddess, creating and destroying. So just destroy, release anything that's coming up for you that is no longer serving you. Let it go, especially that stuff that's in your head, because our head can take us away from the divine feminine. We really want to come back to that divine feminine. Beautiful. And you can do this anytime if there's more you want to release. So go ahead and inhale, come up. And now we're going to do a twist. So let's bring our knees together, maybe hip width apart. And again, you can always, especially if you have shorter legs and you want to feel more grounded, put your feet up on something. And really a couple different ways I'm going to show you. We'll start with just crossing. So I'm going to cross this leg over. On the camera, I'm going to be turned around. So just twist to either side. I'm not going to say right or left. I'm going to take my hand on my knee. I'm going to hold on to the chair, hold on to the back of the chair, look over my shoulder. Now, if you're pretty flexible and you want to take it a little, I don't want to say further because, you know, we don't want to it's not about competition, but if you like to stretch like I do, you might want to you could take your foot into a half squat in the chair and grab your knee. If that feels just, not quite right for you, you could also just cross your ankle over your knee or cross your thigh. So any of those is great. Squatting really brings us into the divine feminine, really opens up our pelvic floor and yoni. So even just a little half squat like this, if that works for you, great. And turning, so getting that twist, coming into the spiral, another beautiful image that reminds us of the divine feminine. And we know that it's in our body, it's in our spine, it's in our energy field. Okay, we'll turn to the other side. So always sitting tall to open the Sushumna Nadi that runs through our spine. You can cross your thigh over or squat in your chair, turn to the other side. You can look over your shoulder, but don't force anything. We want this to be awakening, opening, we're not forcing anything. We want to move with ease, with grace. That is the divine feminine. Breathing deeply, we are connecting to our vitality, our life force in our body. That is our intention, or I hope that's your intention. You can join me in that intention. And I say that because sometimes I find myself maybe in I gotta push myself or get stronger mode. I get stronger naturally when I connect to my own vitality and my divine feminine energy. Okay, we'll take 2 more breaths here. And then on your inhale, returning back to center. So we're going to do one more pose. We're going to do Baddha Konasana, also known as bound ankle pose. Now, if you aren't able to bring your feet up, you could just simply kind of take your knees out and bring the soles of your feet together. You can I have my feet on this little block. Sometimes you can even take a little table in front of you, especially if this is hard on your hips. You could take also one leg up and then switch it up, do one leg at a time, or just cross an ankle over. There's many ways we can open our hips, open our pelvic floor. I'm going to take both feet just so you can see. And you, of course, have to have room around you. Sometimes there's other chairs and things around us, but you can move that on your own. You can hold on to your feet. You could hold on to the sides of the chair. You can press your feet together and push your knees out. Try not to slump down. If you're slumping down, just, again, make it easier. You can put your feet together. We have that external rotation here again and opening the pelvic floor. Let's take our hands on our womb area. And in this pose, what we're going to do is start to invoke and awaken. And I know we've already awakened it today, but wake it up even more, our divine feminine. So what I'd like you to do is just place your hands on your womb and start to visualize a color for your own divine feminine. It may be different than mine. So any color that feels good to you, it feels right, just pick that color. It'll appear to you as you close your eyes. Imagine that color just starting to pool in your womb. This is energy that you have, whether you're in menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, you have this energy. You have it in your body. Breathing it in, and we're going to start to run this energy through our chakras. And you don't have to overthink it. I like to imagine it like a water wheel. And you can start low, even through the root. So through the pelvic floor, and just imagine just like one of those things where the water pours down and all these wheels are spinning. We don't have to think about how they're spinning. We just imagine this energy. It's going up. It starts to rise. Or if it helps, you can imagine that water is pouring down, and that's your divine feminine. See that color going through all your energy centers. You've got 7 in the body, but again, don't overthink it. If you find yourself thinking too much, just Imagine a waterfall of that energy going down through your spine and just enjoy it, bask in it. It can start to permeate like the way that a waterfall has sort of, it steams up a bit. The water has a magical quality and it goes into every cell of your body. So your divine feminine energy is going into every cell and it's circulating powerfully, potently through your chakras. It's your own color, so it's your own divine feminine, not your mom's, not your daughter's, not your friends, your own. Because sometimes we merge a lot. We have that power and ability to merge with other women, but how can you come back to your purest divine feminine energy, your essence? Bring that in, and we'll take a few more moments, just breathing it in. Come back into my deeper pose. Deepening the breath and just keep that visualization, keep going with it. You'll find it's very cleansing. We might even find Vanessa's book has gone higher on the charts because I feel the Shakti here. I feel the energy. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next for all of us. Okay, beautiful. I love to stay here longer, but I know we have a book release party. You can come back to this, and I think this will be recorded in the Facebook group. So I'm going to close with one more thing. We're going to do the Yoni Mudra. Mudra is a seal. So all the practice we've done, we can seal it with our Yoni Mudra. Come up closer. So if you haven't ever done this, I think probably a lot of us, we're taking, sorry, my with the camera, my fingers go the weird way. So my thumb and index finger, and then my other fingers, we can even bring that to our womb area, sealing that in. And you can do any of these practices at any time. I have a sleep meditation for you because I know sometimes the stage of menopause, whatever stage, can throw off our sleep, and I love my sleep. I also wrote a book called Super Ager, and I'll drop that into the chat. Do you want me to drop it into the chat, Vanessa?
Yes, please do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was so fun to share that with you. I can't wait to see what happens next because I feel like the energy of this book release party was so much fun. And I think it's going to blast your book off.
Thank you so much, Elise. That was so lovely. I just feel so open and grounded right now. And yes, the energy just feels like it's building and building in momentum. Thank you so much. And I encourage you to check out Elise's deep sleep meditation, which she has put in the chat. And now I would love to welcome our last guest speaker for today, and that is Amanda. So Amanda, I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm going to have to go back and watch everything because this that last little bit was so juicy. I can imagine all the other presenters. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to share just a little bit about entheogens, also known as sacred plant medicine, and just a tiny little taste. And if you want more, I will share a little bit at the end about there's a free gift I have and how you can stay connected with me. I'm Amanda Elo-Esh, your quicker waker upper. I'm the founder of Living Wisdom, which is a 501c3, and we are a sacred plant medicine church. We offer way more than that, however. So if you're interested in a safe and sacred community, and your path is not working with sacred plant medicines, you're still welcome to come and be a part of what we're doing. And I've been working with plant medicine in a conscious way for over 20 years now. And I serve Huachuma, also known as San Pedro, and we serve a medicine that is very similar to ayahuasca, but it is based on plants that grow here in North America. So if you're interested, again, you'll be able to stay connected with me. And what I wanted to share, because there's so much and there's so much out there right now. This is such a popular, everybody's talking about ayahuasca and, you know, how to change your mind, thanks to Michael Pollan and, you know, all these influencers. And a lot of people are really curious. There's a lot of studies and research showing about the efficacy of healing body, mind, and spirit with these sacred psychedelics. What I want to share a little bit about is the importance of the ceremonial aspect and bringing reverence to it, because these sacred allies have been brought to us by indigenous peoples, First Nation peoples, who fought long and hard for the right to be able to heal. And their big pharma, you know, has a different story to tell you about how to heal yourself. And so I really want to honor all of the indigenous peoples who brought these medicines to us. And there's even scientific research now that shows that not only a clinical, the safe setting, but the ceremonial, the sacred setting really amplifies the power of working with these medicines. Setting an intention, having reverence for, getting to know the origins of, getting connected with the sacred land that these medicines grow from, because they're all interconnected. The power of so many healing herbs that we heal our bodies from have come from the Amazon, which is a rich ecosystem that's all interconnected. And I know that if you're on the path with Vanessa, she talks about this as well, and having sacred relationship and awareness of the plants that you're working with to heal your body, mind, and spirit. And for me, the amazing healing power of entheogens, and entheogen comes from it's a neologism. It was sparked by the whole psychedelic movement that got a bad rap. A lot of, you know, you're going to go crazy and jump out of a window and, you know, and like tripping your mind out. Entheogen means generating God within. And for me, it's a coming back to a reverence and a mindfulness of these sacred allies. When we bring, so they're multidimensional beings. We're multidimensional beings. And you're probably aware of your 5 senses and probably 6 senses, but we actually have a lot more than 6 senses. And working with things that help us to expand our consciousness helps us to get in touch with our multidimensional reality. And the interesting thing about entheogens is they've done studies and shown that it doesn't activate the brain, it actually quiets the brain. And what we found was same with sensory deprivation, same with deep meditation practices. These entheogens get the busy analytical brain that is actually busy filtering out all of the things that don't match the paradigms that we've been taught to believe about our limited human reality. When we quiet that, we can tap into the bigger field of consciousness. We've found that consciousness isn't housed in the brain. They don't even know where it exists. They can't find a place in the body where consciousness exists. And when we can quiet the analytical, the left brain that's wanting to predict and try to, you know, control and stay, you know, this illusion of I know what's going to happen and I'm going to be prepared for it, and to really drop into what's, you know, beyond time, space, limitation, the unified field of consciousness in the now, we have access to everything and we can do great healing. We can do great healing because we're limitless then. And, you know, entheogens, plant medicines aren't the only path. As I mentioned, there's sensory deprivation, there's deep meditation and breathwork practices, all of which I also participate in. And when we quiet that part of the brain down, get it to turn off and stop filtering out the things that are outside the paradigms that we've been taught to believe in, then we have access to so much more of ourselves. So the stepping into that safe and sacred container, as you can imagine, is essential, because when we do open ourselves up to everything, there's a lot out there. And if you're not familiar with navigating altered states and other dimensions and other entities in these other dimensions, they can get overwhelming and scary, and it can bring up a lot of trauma. It can also heal a lot of trauma. It just depends on what kind of a setting you're in. So I don't even know how long I've been talking. I don't know how much time I have, but I know that we're getting close to the end of our time. And I just wanted to put these little pieces out there because there is so much information. And I have what I have that can be very, very helpful for people who are interested in exploring entheogens. And I consider cannabis to be an incredible ally that's helped me to do deep healing. It activates the endocannabinoid system, which everybody has. It's just as powerful as your endocrine system, your respiratory system, your nervous system, and it controls your moods. The cannabis can, even just in CBD form, can really help to activate the bliss molecule in your body, anandamide. So there's all these amazing things that are just starting to come out. We're starting to become aware of them. It's important to make sure that, along with the craze and the interest and the, ooh, this is the cool new thing to do, to make sure that we're approaching it in a way that is safe and sacred for ourselves, and safe and sacred for the plants, because these plants can be exploited, and they can be over harvested and then cause issues for the indigenous peoples who are growing them for themselves. So there's a lot. This could be a whole day-long workshop talking about this, but I created my gift to you. There are a few things. My gift to you is a fairly comprehensive entheogen preparation and integration booklet. And it also includes practices you can do while in an altered state to really amplify whatever it is you're healing, whether it's mind, body, or spirit. And this is a culmination of academic pursuit, my own work with entheogens, my work with multiple indigenous wisdom keepers around the world. And it's the biggest comprehensive entheogenic preparation integration guide I've ever seen. And it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, because these plants are powerful. They can do profound healing. And if we don't work with them in a good way, they can damage ourselves. They can damage the indigenous peoples and the lands that they are on. And we want to preserve all of that and work with it in a good way. So if you're interested, please, and also the other gift is you're welcome to just reach out to me and have a conversation with me if you're curious about exploring this work in a safe and sacred way. You can get a free conversation with me, and I can let you know how to access both of those anytime. livingwisdomchurch.org. It's real obvious. It'll say, here's your free entheogen preparation integration guide, and Elo-Esh.com, which you can see how to spell right here, Elo-Esh.com. If you can get that guide there, and the free conversation with me there as well.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate your emphasis on talking about how to work with plants in a sacred way. And I do also think that I believe it's really important to understand that working with plants is a reciprocal relationship. It's not about taking a supplement. It's more about forming a relationship with the plant. And so I appreciate your perspective on that. And thank you so much for being here. And if you would like to put your links in the chat, you are very welcome to do that.
Yes.
And I want to take the last few minutes to do a couple of things. Number one, thank you again all for being here and celebrating with me. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a celebration for all women. And I just checked the stats again for the Kindle version and saw that not only has it hit number one in all 10 categories, but it is, let me share this with you because this is really exciting. Find the right. Okay, so here are the product details. Here you can see they only list 3 categories on Amazon at a time, but it's number one. But here in the bestseller rank, it's number 649 in the whole Kindle store. That's like out of millions of books. So that is just incredible. And I want to thank you again for your support and for all of you who have shared with your friends and family. And it really means so much to me. One last thing that I would love to do before we end is because I really love celebrating women. And as you can see, I asked many of my friends and colleagues to come and share their brilliance and their wisdom here because I want to celebrate them as well. I put a lot of quotes in my book because I really like to highlight other women's brilliance. And I would like to share a quote with you from my friend Jamila White because it's just so incredibly moving to me. And then I'd love to take just a minute afterwards to reflect on what it might bring up for you. So my friend Jamila White wrote something recently that I feel is befitting this discussion, and I'd like to share it with you. Sis, sometimes what you're going through isn't an ordinary struggle. Sometimes it's an initiation. When you feel like you're facing multiple battles on multiple fronts, and you may even feel like you're dying, i.e. the life you created for yourself is falling apart. You may be going through a spirit-led initiation. An initiation, once all is said and done, changes how you see yourself and the world around you. It is an incredibly powerful transformation. While it's happening though, it rocks you to your very core. The question isn't, why is this happening to me? The better questions are, what new level of myself am I being initiated to? What am I passing to, and what portal am I passing through? What am I being prepared for? What blessings am I being uncomfortably stretched for so that I can expand my capacity to receive? What parts of me are ready to die off so that I can rebirth my next level? What do I need to surrender and release? What am I learning right now? You are being called higher, love. It's like being in a video game and you reach a new level and the old tools from the previous level don't work here. A new level requires new tools and new energy. It may feel a bit disorienting to be thrust into a new world and discover that none of your old tools, habits, practices work. Start exploring new tools or new ways of using old tools. The best thing you can do in the middle of an initiation by spirit is to not resist. Your instinct is usually going to be to fight for control. You aren't in control of this love. If something needs to break, let it. If something needs to leave, let them. If you need to go, go. Allow it. Release your grip on struggle. Release your attachment to the outcome. The harder you hold on to what was or what you hoped was, the more difficult this part of your journey will be. Let go or be dragged. Your power is in your choice. Whatever shows up in an initiation season, try to observe it without attachment. Sometimes healing work is messy AF, but it's so, so worth it. There is light at the end of this tunnel, and that beautiful light is you, sis. I already see you radiating the light of your newly initiated self. And my, what a sight to behold. Keep going. I love you. That makes me tear up every time I read it. So I would love to just take a moment to reflect on what that brought up for you. If you have paper or a journal nearby, or if you just want to write on your computer, just take a minute to express what came up for you. And if you're called to, I would love to have you share that in the chat. And if not, that's okay. But we'll just take 1 minute of silence to reflect. Thank you, Amanda, for sharing. She says the initiations are opportunities, upgrades, not punishments or signs of failure. Yes. So Linda says, love you all. If anybody else would like to share, I would love to see what you have to share in the. Yes, Robin.
Hi, thank you so much for this, and thank you to all of your guests. This is, looks like I'm frozen on my end.
We can still hear you.
Okay, good. You know, Vanessa, that 2 months ago, Friday, my fiance of 2 weeks was ill for a few days and died, transitioned. And both of my dogs transitioned in the spring. It has been a really interesting journey that has turned me inside out and held me up to what I'm doing with what I call the third, not the second half, because I'm probably older than most of you. And this is such a gift. Vanessa, you and I have known each other for a good 8 years on Facebook and never really interacted that much. Somehow this year we've come back together with a shared mission to some degree, I think, to uplift and unite and amplify the voices and the individual missions of midlife and older women, and that's such a joy. What you were reading, and I'm looking forward, of course, to your wisdom, but that quote really hit me because I wish Martha was still here, but this past week she sort of intimated that it was a strong clearing, introspective time. I've heard this from many different astrologers and teachers. And so it was especially powerful for me. And that wonderful quote with its insouciance and intimacy in such a fun way really resonated for me. And I thank you for that. so much and for this gathering. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Robin, for sharing and for being willing to be so vulnerable and sharing your experiences, not only here, but with your friends and in your groups of support and social media. And I have just been really inspired by the way that you have opened yourself up, and not only to share your experience, but to receive support from others. And that's something that as women, we really often don't do, is open to receiving support. We're so used to giving support. And so you are a wonderful role model to me for that.
Thank you. I just wanted to say about the quote, it also gave me, thank you for that, Vanessa. It also gave me a sense of meaning, which I think is this last piece in my grief and in my ability to vision a new life. It just gave me a sense of hope, a little ray that there is meaning and intention in this year's events. So thanks again.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. And if anybody else would like to share, I would love to open it up to anybody before we close. I see some shares in the chat. Elise says, thank you. Wonderful book release party for Meno-Morphosis. Thank you all for being here. All right. Well, I just invite all of you to take a nice deep belly breath. If you'd like to put a hand on your heart or a hand on your womb space or both, and just breathe deeply all the way down into your womb space and celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself for being here at this moment in time in your life. Celebrate all of your accomplishments, all of your past accomplishments, your present accomplishments, and your future accomplishments. And more than that, your wisdom, the wisdom you bring to the world. Breathe that deep into your womb space, deep into your heart. And then release anything that's less than that. And when you're ready, just come back to the present moment with us. And thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Blessings to all of you. And thank you for celebrating with me.
So happy for you, Vanessa. Woohoo! New lucky dance.
Great event.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.